Hey guys, what's going on? It's Halsey, and welcome to the very first episode of Halsey for the Record. That was my song. You asked for this, and I thought it was the perfect way to kick off the show. It's one of my favorite songs on the last album, and it has remained a favorite since I wrote it. And I'm seeing a lot of you guys in the chat talking about how I didn't play it on the tour, and I'm really sorry for that. I loved it. I loved performing it, but you know, it's one of those songs where I'm kind of just like standing there playing the guitar, and I get antsy because I don't get to run around and get in your faces and, you know, see you and jump in the crowd. And I'm kind of stuck in one spot the whole time. So it's a total vibe, but, you know, I don't know. I like to be active. I like to run around. This is our very first episode, so it's kind of like a pilot of sorts. You know what I mean? This is episode 1. You are entering this world for the very first time, and I'm kind of creating it as we go along. And every show is going to be different. So I hope you love this one, and we'll see where it takes us. I'm checking the chat and watching what you guys are saying. I really wanted to do this show because I feel like it's been a long time since I've gotten to connect with you guys in a really in-the-moment, personal, authentic type of way. It's been a while since I've done a good amount of press or interviews, and social media and I don't really get along these days. If I could have a social media platform where it was just me talking to Halsey fans, I would invent one. But this felt like a way of doing that in a way. And I'm really, really fortunate that AMP, gave me this opportunity to have this show and to talk to you guys directly, to inject my voice right into your ears at home, at school, at work, in the car, wherever you are, and kind of just get to hear me. This is happening 100% live. So as I'm saying the words, you are hearing it. It is not pre-recorded. It is not edited. I'm probably going to say some stuff that gets me in trouble or some stuff that I regret, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? That's kind of the fun of it. It reminds me of when I first started out making music on Tumblr, on Twitter. Those days were days that I think I kind of took for granted. Having 30,000 followers, 100,000 followers, knowing that I was speaking directly to my audience, directly to people who wanted to hear what I had to say, who didn't have, any sort of agenda, no traps. Zach Sang and I talked about that when I announced the show on his show. It's one of the reasons why I love doing Zach Sang's show, is because there's no traps. I just get to say whatever I want without worrying that I'm going to walk into quicksand or fall into a hole. And sometimes this world of media can feel a little bit like a Bermuda Triangle of sorts, where the things I say get lost and they disappear. But not here, not on Halsey for the Record, because it's just me, it's just you. I was a little nervous to do this. I remember when I first got asked, they were like, Halsey, do you want to do a radio show? And the first thing I said was, I was like, I'm going to have to put on a full face of makeup and get on camera twice a month. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I'm doing that. I don't want to do that. And they were like, it's audio only. And I was like, oh, sign me up. Sign me up. I think as artists, we have this kind of thing where once you have the makeup on and the clothes on and there's a camera in front of you, like no matter how real you are, how down to earth, how authentic, there is kind of a part of you that always puts on your best face, part of you that performs a little bit because you're aware of being watched and being looked at. And right now, I have on a hoodie and no makeup, and I'm sitting in my theater in my house with my friends. We're all just like hanging out. They're all watching me do my thing. And having this mic in front of me right now, I don't feel like I'm being watched. It's something kind of like I'm just Ashley talking to you guys. And I think that that's going to compel a lot of honesty. A lot of honesty. Some good, some bad, maybe. I don't know. But the best part of it is, I've been doing this for 10 years almost. Oh gosh, 10 years. It was just my birthday. You guys know that I just turned 28. And I feel like in a way there's a part of me that you guys don't ever really get to see. And it's the part of me that is exceptionally chill. It's like the exceptionally chill version of me. You guys see me all kind of boosted up and energetic and on the stage, or doing the press, wearing clothes that came off of a rack that me and a stylist picked out. Just got ready in front of the brightest vanity lights you've ever seen in your life, and the dressing room is negative 30 degrees, and I'm shaking, and I'm cold, and I'm in high heels, and I'm like, gosh, I just want to get the heck out of here. It's like your whole body's on high alert, but this is something different. This is what I'm like when I'm home with my friends. Probably how some of you remember me if you've met me in person. If you've been to a concert of mine, and bear with me because, this is the first episode, so it's pretty introductory. I kind of got to tell you, we're going to get to the fun and the exciting stuff. I know some of you are probably like, Ash, we already know this about you. We know all these things about you, but I got to set the groundwork, I have to lay it all out. Some of you guys have been to shows of mine, and you know that I'm on stage for like 2 hours, but a good 30 minutes of the show is pretty much just me talking. Almost doing like stand-up comedy, kind of. Usually like very self-deprecating stand-up comedy. As soon as I get a mic in my hand, I don't know, I'm ready to just rip on myself. It's my favorite thing to do. But also to connect with you guys and talk to you and tell you how I feel that day. It's the beauty of the tour. Every night I'm feeling something different. Every night I can say something different on stage and take advantage of having you right in front of me. This show is my opportunity to recapture that feeling from home and reach so many of you in so many different places all at once. And that's one of the things that really, really got me excited about doing this, because that's my favorite feeling in the world, is getting to be in front of you and talk to you without having a script in my head or having it planned out, and to riff off of the funny things that you guys say and the questions you ask me that I've maybe never thought of before, and kind of unpack those things in real time with you. And I want to talk to you guys about tour. There's a lot that I want to tell you about it. This past tour was hard to explain, man. It was fun. It was new. It was scary. It was vulnerable. It was the first time I'd been back on the road in a really, really long time. And there was a lot of things that I had to relearn and rediscover. Everything from the way my body felt, from the way that I felt inside my body, to what touring looked like in a new world post the pandemic, and to be playing music that was unlike any kind of music that I had ever made before, playing those songs from If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. A record, by the way, that was largely written with the intention of how it would feel to perform it live, which is something that I spend so much time in the studio thinking about, the way you guys are going to consume the music individually in your bedrooms or on your headphones or in the car. And, this time around, I was really thinking about, okay, what kind of energy do I want to have in my body when I'm on stage? And it was just this unparalleled rage for some of the songs. I remember every night getting on stage and hearing the intro to Easier Than Lying. I almost said Eyes Closed. Oh my gosh. I'm like, whoa, what year am I in? Hearing the intro to Easier Than Lying and being like, I'm so happy I wrote this song, man, because this is the kind of song that I want to play. I just want to lose control of my body and scream and shriek and lay on the floor and run around. And I was just patting myself on the back, being like, you did good, kid. You did good writing this song. This is the one, this is the one. I feel like after Nightmare, getting to experience that type of song, I was just so hungry for other ones. I was so starving to make more music like that. And that's also why we put Experiment on Me in the show. Because it's obviously not one of my most popular songs, but it's one of the ones that I think translates into the live environment the best. I'll never forget playing that at Reading and Leeds and seeing the UK crowds pit up and just lose their minds. I was like, this moment is exactly what this song is for. And I think it was really surprising for a lot of people to see that energy come out of me on the tour, especially post, getting pregnant, having a baby, being a mom. I think that a lot of people really thought that was going to soften me, but it didn't. It made me super tough. And it made me, kind of more of a savage than I've ever been, because it was the hardest thing I'd ever been through. And I was like, hell yeah. It's like, fuck yeah, I just lived through that. Are you kidding me? I can do anything now. made being on tour feel like a walk in the park. And I would do it again tomorrow, next week, in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to, because I'm home right now and I'm enjoying being home. I haven't been home in a really long time, and, you know, even through the pandemic, I was working through my pregnancy. We shot the movie in Prague, which was unbelievable. Early on in the pregnancy. I mean, I probably was like 1 day pregnant. we put out I Would Leave Me If I Could, the book, which I think is kind of an important thing that I just want to bring up, because in the same way of what I'm doing now, the book was my way of kind of subverting media and getting to talk to you guys in a way that felt really direct. You know, there's something about people seeing your face when you're talking, and it's like everything that you're saying is sort of filtered through the lens of whatever you look like. Do you look too pretty? Do you look too feminine? Do you have too much makeup on? Is what you're saying smart? Do I believe that you're smart enough to say what you're saying? Is it meaningful? Is it, you know, there's just kind of like, do the words match the dress in a way? And the book was my way around that. I was like, read the words. Don't look at my face when I say them. Imagine whatever voice in your head fits them. Whatever person is talking to you. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone else. And I felt like that was really successful. And I felt like you guys kind of got the chance to get into my head in a different way, and that got the gears turning and kind of got me inspired to explore different medias and approach the tour differently, you know, because we had those spoken word interludes like I did on my very first tour, the American Youth Tour, and on the first Badlands tour, bringing back those old channels of communication. And I want to talk to you guys more about tour. I do, because I feel like I didn't get the chance to have like a long form conversation about it. But before I do, I want to play you a song. It's a song that I listen to very frequently before I go on stage, by one of my favorite artists ever, who's inspired a ton of my music and who actually inspired the first song I played today. You asked for this. I hope you guys love this. This song is Spiderwebs by No Doubt. Guys, that was Spiderwebs by No Doubt, and this is still Halsey for the record. It's so funny hearing that song and hearing her voice, and thinking about the way that it relates back to You Asked for This specifically, because I remember being in the studio with Greg Kirsten, who I wrote the song with, and I've done a lot of songs with Greg. He's amazing. I did You Should Be Sad with him, 3 a.m., Beautiful Stranger, Strangers, Devil on Fire, Angel on Fire, and Devil in Me, and probably a bunch more that I'm just forgetting off the top of my head right now. But he's one of my favorite people to write with, because he's just so quiet and so chill, and he kind of just lets me go in and like get all my neuroses out, and then I'll just kind of look at him and be like, play me something like this on guitar, like a, and he's like, got it, and then he just does it. And then 30 seconds later, I have a song. But when I was in the studio recording that vocal, I remember initially I was doing that vocal like very like old school Halsey. Like I was doing it very like, go on and be a big girl. Like, you know, kind of cutie voice. And then I was like, wow, I feel like I need to put like some bass in my chest, and I need to make it sound kind of almost a little bit more like I'm mocking myself. And then what came out was kind of this Gwen voice, this very like, go on and be a big girl. That girl is so Gwen Stefani. And as soon as those pieces clicked for me, I was like, oh, I know exactly what type of song this is. And we put the rest of it together, and it really became one of my favorites in that way, because it's such a female angst coming of age type of song, which is really, really, really awesome. And it's so fun. Gwen has always been a huge inspiration for me, from like wearing, you know, white tank tops on stage and like low-rise pants, to, you know, wearing my hair in space buns, to doing my own makeup, because Gwen, you know, used to and still does. I think she's a cosmetic company as well. Shout out Gwen. Shout out Give. But every night before I go on stage, I watch Tragic Kingdom live at the Forum. I mean, that's another way that she inspired me, let's be honest here. Like, you know, that record is called Tragic Kingdom. Mine was called Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. Like, those little breadcrumb trails are kind of all over the place. They're everywhere in my work. But I watched this one performance every single night before I go on stage, because she's just like sweaty and she's just in it, and there's just so many really cool moments. She's like, her musicians are vibing and she's like really engaged with her band. And I know that really inspired me on this last tour to really engage with my band. I had a new band on this tour, Harry on drums, Bonnie on keys, Liv on guitar, and I just became like best friends with them, and we really felt like a band playing live, and I kind of got to engage with them in that way. Gwen is definitely one of those artists. When people ask me like who inspires my music, you know, it's Gwen is one of the obvious answers. But to be honest with you, more often than not, my music is not inspired by music. My music is inspired by film. When I'm gearing up to make an album or make any project, really, I just watch a lot of movies. I think about how the movies make me feel. I was one of those kids growing up where like I would go see a movie in the theater, or I would watch, you know, a movie at home, and I would leave like, well, I'm a new person forever now, and I have an entirely new personality that I just pulled right from this film, and it's going to be what I'm obsessed with. And it wasn't always the obvious things, you know. It wasn't always the eternal sunshine of the spotless minds. It was like, you know, I'm like 6 years old and I'm watching Three Ninjas, and I'm like, oh, I do karate now. You know, that's me. My personality is karate now. I remember watching Bring It On and being like, oh, I'm a cheerleader. And then I was for years because of a movie that I watched. It's just crazy how formative it is. Obviously, Romeo and Juliet, heavily inspired. Not even heavily inspired. It was a complete allegory for Romeo and Juliet, post-pop kind of Baroque breakup core album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. And then Badlands was heavily inspired by Blade Runner, Badlands by Terrence Malick, and you know, amongst other sort of sci-fi dystopian films. And then Manic was just that. Manic was what of these sort of manic pixie dream girl type characters in films have contributed to the way that my personality appears, manifests, represents itself today. And I think all of us kind of do that, right? Like all of us are just like a product of the media that we're consuming in a way. Like you read a book, you see a film, you listen to an album, and it just becomes part of you. And that's like a lot of pressure as a creative as well, because I'm thinking about, you know, some of you guys listening to my records and me being like, oh gosh, am I about to accidentally make myself a part of them? Like, I'm so sorry. So my deepest apologies to all of you if any of my records have become a formative part of your personality. That I'm just so sorry. You know, I don't even want to be a part of my own personality. You know, I've accidentally made myself parts of yours. But I'm watching a lot of movies right now because that's what I do. That is my collecting, you know? That's how I get ready to start any project. And I'm branching out into other stuff right now that I will talk about on this show eventually, but I'm not going to give away in the pilot episode. Come on. I can't give away the whole ending. I've watched a lot of movies this year. What have I watched? I saw Crimes of the Future. That was amazing. I love Cronenberg. I love like body horror, New French Extremity, Cinémedico, like that kind of thing. And I love Kristen Stewart, obviously, so I'll watch anything that she's in. And she was wonderfully creepy in that movie. It was awesome. What else did I watch? I just watched X. Ty West. Really, really cool. Love Kid Cudi as an actor, by the way. He was amazing. I was like, why hasn't he? I mean, I know obviously he was in How to Make It in America. Is that show, right? Yeah. And a couple other things after that, but I just want to see him in everything. He's like becoming one of my favorite actors, low-key. I think he has a movie coming out, actually. The intergalactic sort of album type cinematic Kid Cudi universe movie, which is really exciting. I think Timothée Chalamet is in it. He is, yeah. Timothée Chalamet is in it, which is also sick. Like, I can't say unexpected crossover because they're friends, but also low-key unexpected crossover. Like, it's gonna be really cool. What else did I see? I saw Nope, obviously. Love all Jordan Peele. Like, everything that he does is amazing. And I really liked that one because it was like, I thought like a really cool commentary on like the machine of the industry and like kind of 15 Minutes of Fame and all that. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Daniels just, they totally killed that. I actually like harassed them pretty much after I saw that movie. I like beat their office down and was like, I need to get on the phone with you and do a meeting. And then I got the meeting and I didn't know what the meeting was about. I just wanted to meet them. I was just like, how to do a meeting. I spent the whole time just pretty much telling them how much I love them and how much I love the movie, with just zero objective. Like there was no goal. I should have used that time to be like, let's do a movie together, or like put me in your next thing. And instead I just complimented them the entire time. And I'm really glad that I got the chance to do that. What else did I watch? I watched Worst Person in the World, Northman. Northman was crazy, but I love like fantasy, Norse, pagan kind of inspired films and stuff like that. Obviously, earlier in the year, Licorice Pizza. That was incredible. Batman. Duh. Batman. There was no way I wasn't going to see a Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz Batman movie. It's like my entire personality pretty much in a film. Also very, very much inspired by Robert Pattinson fashion and makeup in that film. It's like everyone I know, I think, left that movie being like, I want to look like Zoe Kravitz. And I was like, I want to look like Robert Pattinson. I want to go like new wave goth mercenary superhero. And there's like a lot of movies I'm really looking forward to seeing, like up and coming also. Like I want to see Triangle of Sadness. I want to see The Menu because I love Anya Taylor-Joy. Love her so much. And she's also a complete sweetheart in real life, despite being like a total genius and like a stunning, beautiful goddess. When I met her in person for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, you really are just that beautiful. That's crazy. Wow. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, yeah, you're beautiful, but like, you know, you're more special on camera. And when I met Anya, I was like, this is insane that a person just looks like this in real life. Like, just crazy. Just, anyway, that's not what this show is for. It's for me to talk about all my crushes on my colleagues, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't. So, and there's a lot of TV shows that I'm excited about coming back to. Obviously, Succession. You guys know that I'm like a huge Succession fan. And then there was a show I started watching right at the beginning of the pandemic called Servant. And it's Lauren Ambrose, Rupert Grint. It's produced by M. Night Shyamalan. And it's it's really hard to say what it's about without giving it away, but if you like kind of horror and you like that suspenseful other universe kind of show, like if you were an American Horror Story fan or something like that, this is a show that you will really, really like. I don't really know where the last season was going, so I'm hoping that they kind of redeem themselves with the next one, but I binged it. I was so excited for new episodes to come out when I caught up with the seasons and just like waited with bated breath for all the new episodes. And I'm also like an old Harry Potter geek, so anything Ron Weasley is in, I'm really stoked on. Except he's doing like a crazy Philadelphia accent in this, which is like a little unnerving because it's like not what you expect to come out of Ron Weasley's mouth. And he also just looks like perfectly filthy and sweaty and terrible, which I'm always a huge fan of. But yeah, I'm in that phase. I'm in that collecting phase. What have you guys been watching? Drop in the chat because I'm looking at it right now and I want to know if I'm missing anything that I haven't seen yet, because there's like a lot of The Watcher. You know what's so crazy about The Watcher? Oh, I'm so excited someone said that because I grew up in New Jersey, right? And Jersey has this thing called Weird NJ, and it's these books that would come out every year that basically like they chronicle all of the weird paranormal stuff that happens in New Jersey. Westfield, yeah, it was in Westfield. It chronologues all this like crazy stuff that happens in Jersey because Jersey's like this paranormal weird place. Like there's like, you know, there's Jenny Jump and there's there's Greystone Asylum, there's the Watcher House, there's Annie's Road, there's just a bunch of them. And when we were kids, we used to just drive around and like kind of like dare each other, we play chicken into going to those places. And I was, of course, an insane person, so I was just illegally climbing around like every abandoned building basically in the entire state of New Jersey. I think I probably incriminate. I don't know. Like, I'm probably going to lose the show for like incriminating myself and admitting to criminal activity live on air. But if you live in New Jersey and I don't suggest doing this because it's super dangerous and you might get hurt. But if you don't listen, then boy, do I have some advice for you. If you go check out any of those kind of like abandoned, like weird NJ type spots, a lot of those buildings have like graffiti and art inside them that I did when I was like 16 or 17. I, and that is not me saying to go look for it because it's very dangerous. And I'm saying right now, Halsey, on the record, I do not want you to go look for them because it's dangerous. But if you've already been there and you saw it, maybe you can go back in your memory and remember some in your memory, go back and remember some of the art you saw. Also, I was such a dweeb, so like none of my art was really very cool. I remember, what did I do? I think there's a house, like, I'm going to get back to the Watcher in a second, I promise. There's a house close by to it. And I went inside and I can't believe I'm about to say this right now. I spray painted on a wall in a gigantic bathroom, enemies of the air beware, her skeleton will lie in the chamber forever, which is like a quote from Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter. And I thought that was very cool of me that I did that. And now in retrospect, I'm like, oh, very cool. So I was like half a badass and half a nerd because like I did break into an abandoned building and graffiti it, but I graffitied a quote from Harry Potter. So like balance. It's all about balance in this life. And I feel like that's a pretty good summary for what kind of person I am. But that also speaks to how the media that I was consuming was totally cannibalizing my personality. You know, like being a fan of those books and those films back then, and today wishing somebody else wrote them. But you know, despite that, them having like a huge impact on me, made it so that when I was in that corner and thought about what to write, what to leave my mark on this building forever, it was legitimately that quote. And I love that. I love thinking about the way that those things affect me and how like maybe a certain outfit that I wear, like a place that I want to visit or a hobby that I pick up, you know, becomes part of my life. I even put them, you know, in a way into the tour visuals. There's scenes from American Psycho and Titan and I mean, a ton more. I don't want to give all my secrets away because you guys will probably see those visuals again, and I want you to be able to figure some stuff out. But you know, those make their way onto the stage. You know, those movies become so important to me that I'm willing to make them a part of the atmosphere and the environment in which I am performing my art and the way that I'm communicating my art to my audience. But my favorite songs are the ones that make me feel like I am a very, very cool hero in a 90s film who's wistfully longing for someone that we could never be together because it's too complicated. And now I'm walking down a sidewalk with my headphones on, my Walkman in my hand, just thinking about my life and just waiting to get a tap on my shoulder. And I turn around and it's the one person that I was thinking about the whole time, and they're back and everything's going to work out because it's a movie and that's how movies are. And there's one song in particular that I've been really thinking about lately that really gives me that feeling. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard it, but I think you're really going to like it. Just picture yourself in a 90s film, whether you're in your car, you're at work, you're at home, whatever it is. Just let this ambiance kind of take you away. This is Duvet by Boa. That was Duvet by Boa, and this is still Halsey for the record. And I'm like looking in the chat. You guys are so funny. So many people are like, yes, this is Gilmore Girls. It's very, very main character energy song. Also, someone said that's a TikTok sound. I didn't know that for the record. And now I'm like really embarrassed. I feel like that's like a trend at the moment where like you like a song and someone is like, oh, that's from TikTok. And you're like, No, it's not, damn it. It's just a song I like. Like, oh, you listen to TikTok music. Like, no, I don't. Don't listen to TikTok music. It's just a good-ass song. But, it just gives me such a calm energy. I also realized I didn't finish talking about The Watcher, and so I'm just gonna like summarize it really quick. But basically, I was just gonna say it takes place in Westfield, New Jersey, and like we used to hear these stories all the time. And my mom went to the high school out there, and she used to say she'd ride the bus past the house on the way to school, and it's just like one of those creepy things where when you grow up in Jersey, you just accept it as fact and as truth and as law and lore. But that is just paranormal stuff happens there all the time, you know? The Jersey Devil, all of it. Which is really messed up, by the way. The Jersey Devil. It was like not the hockey team, the cryptid. It's like this thing that was made up to like keep kids inside. It was like, don't go playing in the Pine Barrens in the forest because the Jersey Devil will get you. I don't know, I'm doing a southern accent, Jersey. It's more like, don't go playing in the forest. The Jersey Devil will get you. That was kind of more what it was like. Anyway, I'm going to play you guys another one real quick and then we're going to get back to talking. But this is another one that kind of gives me like 90s badass girl energy. It's one of my favorite songs ever. This is Down by the Water by PJ Harvey. It's giving very much, you do not want this. It's really, really, really cool to be playing these songs for you guys and giving you the chance to kind of see where some of my influences are. You know, it's I'm giving away all my secrets is what I'm doing. Yeah, that track, Down by the Water, PJ Harvey. It's a really, really very, very formative record for me. I saw a lot of people saying it was giving Lighthouse vibes too. Definitely. That whole genre of music was like super instrumental when I was making If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power, because it was kind of the thing, right? As everyone was like, well, what a female Nine Inch Nails album sound like? And it was kind of like this. Yeah. Someone said, Honey Coming Down was like, yeah, I love learning about your playbook. Yeah, this is my playbook. I'm giving you all the secrets. But it's okay because I'm on to the next thing now. So I can give you my old secrets. I just can't tell you my current secrets, but I can let you in on the old ones. I've been listening to a lot of stuff like this lately, man. A lot of it. It's really been making me kind of like reflect on my sound and my discography and kind of like, you know, the type of music that I want to be remembered for making. I think there's like a little bit of a divide between the music of mine that's popular on the radio and then the records that you guys are compelled to, you know, the B-sides, the fan tracks. Like, I feel like I have songs like, you know, I don't know, like Now or Never, you know, which are records that people might recognize from the radio, and that might have been one of their first entry points into like my solo music. And then I have records like Gasoline that are almost as certified. I've sold as many copies as that, which is a song that, like, you know, it would be largely considered a deep cut, but, you know, the way that it shows up in sales, that's not a deep cut. That's, you know, I play that song live and the whole crowd erupts. It's even at the radio shows, even when I'm playing to people who are quote unquote casual listeners or casual fans, that one really cuts through. And those are the records that are inspired, you know, by these types of things. Those are those records. And I always know that you guys are going to love them. And I know that you're going to find them. And that was something that happened with Love and Power, is I just kind of put all these songs out without a real focus single. Obviously, you know, I'm Not a Woman, I'm a God was the first track. It was the introductory track, but without a true focus single, because I was like, there's so many different songs on this album. And I do not know. I really don't know which one is going to be the one that connects. So I'm just going to let them decide. I'm going to let you guys choose. And it's funny to see how everyone kind of has their own favorite in a little way. Because I do hear it's You Asked for This. And sometimes I do hear it's Lighthouse, or I hear it's Whispers, or I hear it's Girls Are Gone, or, you know, Lilith sometimes too. I'm probably forgetting a bunch. I'm sorry. Bells in Santa Fe. Yeah. Bells in Santa Fe is a big one. Everyone really loves that one. But yeah, just kind of giving you guys a chance to discover, I guess. I do want to say I'm not taking calls right now, and I want to explain why. And it's because I was really scared I was going to fuck this up, because I've never done it before and this is my first time. So I just wanted to like give myself the best chance to succeed in being like, okay, I'm going to, you know, because I feel like if anybody else was doing the show, it would be very planned out. They would know exactly what they were going to talk about and kind of be like reading a little bit of a script. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it that way, which is great, but also, you know, leaves ample opportunity for me to totally just blow it and make a huge mistake. And I just didn't want to overcomplicate it. Like having other technological things that I need to do, like taking in the calls. But I want to ask you guys a question. Because since I've been home, I've been kind of getting back out into the world, you know? I feel like I felt really old the past few years. I felt like really old. I was like, yeah, I'm old, man. I'm old. I've been doing this a long time. I have a kid. I live in, the suburbs. And I'm like, I'm just old. I don't do things anymore. And then I came home from the tour and I was like, what the heck? I'm not even 28 yet. I was like, you need to get it together and live your youth while you have it. So I've been trying to like go out and do things and get myself inspired. And one of the things I've been doing is going out to shows. Last night, my guitarist Liv Sunderland, she had a show at a place called Gold Diggers, and she killed it. It was an amazing show. She's so cool, so dope. Best guitarist, which is obviously why I have her on the road with me, but she's also just like very effortless, cool girl, which I can't relate. So, watching her was amazing. And after the show, I told her I was very jealous of her because she's sick and just like supremely talented. And I went with my whole crew. Everybody from the touring crew was there. We all came out to support, and it was really awesome to watch her in her element and to think that that girl on stage with me playing guitar is also like a total badass front woman and is like so capable of like leading the show and leading the crowd and just taking complete advantage of the night and the moment. That was inspiring for me. And it reminded me of kind of playing those smaller shows. And you guys know I do them sometimes. We do the Webster Hall shows, we do like the smaller shows, but like made me really think back to getting to play to like 200 cap venues, which I didn't get to really do a lot of, to be honest with you, because you guys sold out my first tour ever. And a lot of those venues got upgraded on my first tour, which is so insane. So even like the smaller venues that I remember playing, most of them were probably like 500 cap. Like, I mean, I think maybe we did like a 200 in DC, right, Aunt? We do? Like a 200. We did Club Data. That was small, right? U Street we did, yeah. I don't know. Club Data's Atlanta? Oh my gosh. I've played so many cities so many times I barely even remember anymore. I was playing St. Andrews. That was pretty small, right? I don't know. Some of you guys were probably there, maybe, or not. Most of the people who are there are probably like in law school now. That was a direct call out. But just that. Yeah, see, now they're all coming in. There was the Nashville small show. We did a small show in Nashville, and it was 18 plus. I remember being so mad. I was like, none of my fans are 18. What do you mean we're doing an 18 plus show? This is crazy. Seattle Showbox Soto. Yeah, the Vic in Chicago. Oh, man. A lot of small shows in Boston, Phoenix. Yeah, this is crazy. Underground Arts. The Rave. The Rave. Do you remember the Rave? Oh, love the Rave. Love spooky haunted venues. Very cool. Very on brand for me. We'll get into that on another episode. I'll talk about playing haunted venues. That will be a really cool show if we do that, because there's definitely a lot of those. Someone said 930 Club. That's not that small, right? That's like that's a 1,400 cap. Yeah, that's not that small. But anyway, getting to see those shows and like thinking about that time in my life and kind of wishing that I could recapture that in a way, that freedom, there's dirty freedom of being on a stage in a little room like that. It's like unbelievable. I think we kind of romanticize it though, because I do remember at that time Anthony and I were touring in like a 10-passenger van, and I was like showering at truck stops and like staying in like the grossest motels you've ever seen, which was fitting because my EP was called Room 93. So, I had to be in the motels to make it authentic and make it real, but probably almost got murdered a few times if it weren't for Aunt and Shepherd. Good old Aunt and Shepherd looking out for me. I will say though, I don't ever drink really. I'll have like one drink when I go out. I had phases. I've had my phases. But generally speaking, I'm not someone who really likes being kind of like, I guess, out of control of myself. Mostly because I have like a very overwhelming fear of embarrassment. Pretty much everything I do is motivated by not wanting to embarrass myself. And I feel like there's a lot to unpack there, because I feel like I've been like routinely embarrassed on the internet so many times that now it's like my greatest fear is doing something that's going to end up going viral and embarrassing me. Which is why obviously you don't want to go out and and drink and increase your chances of that happening. Anyway, all this to say, it was my first tour ever. I was with Ant. I don't even think this was a headline tour. I think this is when I was opening for the Kooks. We went and we did a show in Santa Ana, and on the way home, the show went so well. I was so excited that I drank some wine on the drive back because it was like a 2-hour drive. And I am a very small person. I look big on stage. I am very small. I am just a little guy, little kid, you know? And I drank this wine, and I don't remember this happening, but I'm pretty sure at some point I ended up on Anthony's front lawn, face down. And he's shaking his head right now. And he had to bring me inside, and he was like, all right, rock star, come on. He was so nice, because I was like 19. I was 19. I'm really just talking about all the illegal stuff that I do on this show. I didn't think this was going to turn into that, but if you're a parent listening, I'm really sorry. Anyway. But Aunt brought me inside. He was like, you're a rock star. It's your first tour ever. Do it once and then never do it again. And then I never did it again. Never did it again. Always very professional on stage. Show up to work the next day. Never did it again. All it took was one night face down on Ant's lawn. But that's rock and roll, baby. Right? That's rock and roll. That's how it is. Rock and roll is that. And it's also playing little ass, cool ass shows with your friends, which is why I like going out to them. But I've been listening to a lot of new female alt and wanting to go out and see those bands and those artists and recapture that energy. What have I been listening to? I've been listening to Ethel Cain, Willow, Girl in Red, Suki Waterhouse, tons of stuff. You guys should drop artists in the chat because I'm always looking for new music. You know, obviously I'm listening to all of the classics, all the good shoegaze stuff, and I brought a bunch of amazing acts on tour as well. Biba Doobie, Pink Pantheress, the Marias, Abby Roberts. Fletcher's the homie. She's from Jersey. We love Fletcher. She's incredible. I really love that girl. And I love what she's doing for alt and for pop right now in her own kind of way. I think it's Destroy Boys. Really cool. Very, very cool. Love Ash Nico. Love Ash Nico. Maggie Rogers, of course, is amazing. She's also weirdly my twin. I feel like we look like sisters somehow. I saw her in Paris the other night in Fashion Week, and looking at her face, I was like, we look like same person, different font. It is we both had short hair. I was like, this is so weird. But it was really cool because I love her. There's a lot of good stuff in here. You guys are dropping a lot of good stuff. I'm trying to screenshot as I go along. Rena, obviously amazing. Lolo's amazing. Love Mothica. Met her a long time ago outside of a show. I don't even know if she remembers, but she was just starting out, and I'm so proud of her and so glad to see her killing it right now. But anyway, on the subject of new female or alt artists, I want to play you guys a song that I've been really, really into that I think you're going to love. I'm a grown-up now, so I can't write songs about being a teenager as much as I would love to, because those are some of the most amazingly inspiring and triggering and awful years of my life. But this one kind of takes me back in a really cool way. This is American Teenager by Ethel Cain. You guys, that was American Teenager by Ethel Cain, and this is still Halsey for the record. So cool. I love it. Love having my own radio show. It's very, very cool. I'm usually down here saying everybody else's radio liners, and now I get to say my own. I feel like I have too much power though. I feel like as this episode has gone on, I've gotten progressively more risky. I started it very careful, and then I was like, anyway, so when I did this illegal thing, and also I'm terrified of embarrassment. Do you want to see my soul? Anyway, I feel like that's kind of what's happening. But I wouldn't have expected anything else, to be honest with you. I knew it was going to go that way. But this is, like I said, it's the pilot, so I had to keep it a little bit safe. But as the shows go on, I really feel like the more comfortable I get and the more, safe of a space this is, I'm going to start cracking into things. Maybe old stories that I never gave you an explanation on. Maybe it's time to hear why Anthony's going, why? Why would you say that in the background? He's like, why would you promise that? But no, you know what I mean? It's little things, what happened to the Drive video? And why did you, he's so mad now that I said that. But anyway, we're building a friendship here. You know what I mean? And you don't reveal all of yourself all at once. unless you're me and you do, because I overshare at parties with people that I just met. But I'm trying to be better about that. And I'm trying to be safe and protect myself and, reveal myself little by little in my real life. I'll see if that translates into this show. It probably won't, because I feel superhero safe right now, because that's what you guys give to me. And it's what you let me have, and it's why this show is going to be such an amazing thing. I'm going to try to bring some guests on if I can figure out if I'm friends with anyone that would actually want to do it. I know I'd love to get Courtney Love on the show. Love to get Kim Gordon on the show. I don't know Kim Gordon, but I'm going to try to make her like me. Some of my friends, who also make music, who are really cool, some filmmakers, maybe some doctors, some scientists, some artists, I don't know. You guys tell me who you want to see on the show, and I will do my best to make that happen for you. My children, I will get you anything that you want. I will do my best, okay? I don't know why whenever I say children, I just become Jersey. Maybe it's because my mom talks like that, so then I just become her. Wow. I didn't anticipate that. Halsey, for the record, turning me into my mother. That was not on my bingo card for this. I have to call my therapist now and figure out what that means. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to take some calls on one of the upcoming shows as soon as I kind of get this whole format figured out. And, I love that it's kind of messy. And like I said, it's live and you guys are hearing me figure it out as I go along. I think this is going to be really good for us. I think this is going to be a really fun thing. And we're all going to get to be best friends again. And that's all that I could ever hope for it to be. But I'm not going to leave you on that. This is Halsey, for the record. I'll be back and I'll see you guys next time. Follow me on AMP at Halsey. Make sure you guys share it on social media because, the better the show does, the more likely they're going to let me keep doing it, which is tight. And I'm not afraid to admit that. So I'm telling you right now, y'all better stream this show better than you stream my albums. Come on. I'm just kidding. You guys do whatever you want to do. I love you. I trust you. I want you to engage because it's meaningful and it matters to you, not because you have you feel some obligation or expectation to. But with that being said, and very fittingly, the last song that I'll play for you guys tonight is called Bullshit on the Internet by Silky Waterhouse. Bye.